The Reykjavik meeting between President Reagan and General Secretary Gorbachev changed the world. It was a pivotal event, and a kind of spirit of Reykjavik emerged. What happened? The two leaders sat together with their foreign ministers, Medber Shevardnadze and me, for 2 days, and we talked to each other about everything. Of course, attention is paid to the fact that basically what became the Intermediate Nuclear Forces Agreement and the Strategic Arms Reduction Agreement both were fundamentally laid out there. But there's something even more significant in some ways that took place. The Assistant Secretary of State, Rosanne Ridgway, negotiated with her counterpart an agreement that human rights would be a regular, recognized subject on our agenda in our meetings. That was a breakthrough. It meant that there was a wholly different atmosphere emerging in the Soviet Union. And it meant that we were on our way to a major reduction in nuclear arms. These are arms that threaten the world. Today, despite the fact that we are having our problems, nevertheless, the nuclear arms in the world today are about 1/3 of what they were in Reykjavik, basically due to what took place at Reykjavik. I might say a word on behalf or in appreciation of the government of Reykjavik, of Iceland. They were present. They received each delegation generously and courteously. But they also took part in selecting Hafti House as our site. At the time, Hafti House was an isolated place that from the security standpoint was easy to guard and kept the meeting basically confined to the people in the meeting. So the generous hosts of Iceland provided that kind of setting for us. There was another interesting part. President Reagan and I met with Gorbachev and Shevardnadze in a little room on the first floor, tiny little room. On the second floor, there was a room for the Soviets and a room for the U.S. delegation, but then there was a common room. And as it turned out, people mixed in that common room. And I remember Paul Nitze met General Akramayov, who was the head of the Soviet armed forces. And they sort of got to be friends. Paul learned that Akramayov had read James Fenimore Cooper, and it was fascinating. So they knew each other. And then that night they wound up as the people trying to put into more detailed form what had been agreed to by the leaders during the day. So that was another aspect of the wisdom of the selection of Hafti House, which the authorities in Iceland were very well aware of. So altogether, no matter what may have been the immediate reactions, the basic long-term reaction was to put the subject of getting nuclear weapons on the agenda, of actually reducing the numbers of nuclear weapons in the world substantially, and creating an atmosphere that finally led to the end of the Cold War. So here's to Reykjavik.